So the other day, I'm having a coffee with a friend, and he asks a question. It was something like this: I don't know what I want. How do I know what I want? And I was like, ooh, yeah, that's a really difficult question. Like, there's a ton of people who have tons of stuff that they want because, society, media, they paint a picture of success and all of these things that we can go after, like career, building a business, traveling, like having a calling. And some of us don't have something like that. We don't have this big thing that we're running towards, and we feel this pressure to do something with our lives. And I remember this quote from Dillard that says something like this: how we live our days is, of course, how we live our lives. And I was like, oh, I get it now. So there's this pressure to build this amazing life. Maybe this life looks like a castle or a skyscraper or like a monolithic church or monastery. That's the life that we're building. And we're just building towards that. We're placing brick after brick after brick to try and build this big life. But what happens if every day, which is brick building, we actually don't enjoy things too much? But we're hoping that our life is going to look super cool and super rad because we're building this big building. What happens if we flip that on its head and we're like, screw the big building and what it looks like. I'm just going to concern myself with today, the brick that is today. So I said to my friend, what happens if your focus was just enjoying today? How about you design what your todays look like? Not your extraordinary special todays, just your average, ordinary, normal todays. What do you want more of in your everyday life? What happens if that's what we focused on? So this may be something that you're like, wow, this is a very different way of thinking about life. Yeah, it is. So when somebody asks you, what do you want to do with your life? You're like, wow, that's a big question. But what happens if we rephrase it and say, what do you want to do every day? And I kind of feel like it's a little bit more approachable. You can kind of answer this and be like, yeah, I think I'd like to drink coffee every day. Maybe spend some time reading or playing with my kids or hanging out with people. Maybe I'd like to work on something that's really fun and important. Maybe I'd like to work on something that's big and, have that feeling of accomplishment every single day. And, by the end of your life, perhaps your life doesn't look like something that resembles anything. Maybe it's not part of a blueprint, or it doesn't look like somebody else's fancy life. Maybe it looks like some kind of pixel art with bricks everywhere. But who cares about that? Because you had fun. You enjoyed placing these bricks. So there's a Steve Jobs quote that also just whooped into my mind as I'm chatting with my friend. And I think it goes something like this. So every day for the past 33 years, I've looked at myself in the mirror and I've asked myself, if today was the last day that I was alive, would I be wanting to do what I'm going to do today? And if the answer was no, for too many days in a row, well then I knew I needed to change something. Ask yourself that today. Do you need to change something in your day-to-day kind of life? Now, I know that this may feel quite elitist or privileged to be like, oh, I just want to do whatever I want to do with every single day of my life. I want a perfect life. I understand that at times we need to do hard stuff to get to a good place. I understand that some of us can't just design our everyday to be perfect. Sometimes we're just not in that position. But I bet that you can make it a little bit better. So instead of being like, oh yes, I'll just read for 7 hours a day because I love reading. Well, maybe just read for 10 minutes extra every day because I love reading. Because adding a little bit of something that you love into your day makes your day better. And when you make a day better, you end up making your whole life better because a series of better days leads to a better life. So my question to you as the viewer is, what do you want your everyday life to look like? And what small changes can you do to bring your current life closer to the life that you want it to be? All right, my name is Rich Armstrong from Tap Tap Kaboom. And if you found this helpful in some way or another, please share it with somebody who you think would enjoy it or find it thought-provoking. All right, bye for now.